You're listening to the ADHD and Me podcast. I'm Joe.
And I'm Jen, and we're so excited to share the strategies we've learned while navigating life as neurodivergents.
Each week, we'll discuss topics such as relationships, careers, mental health, and a lot more.
You'll get two unique perspectives on life's challenges, successes, and everything in between.
So without further ado, here's this week's episode. Welcome back to the ADHD and Me podcast. My name's Joe.
And I'm Jen.
And we got a great episode for you this week. We actually did something unique. Jen had the idea of, let's put up a poll on Instagram and let's see what you, the listeners, want to hear about. So we put a few options, and the one that came out on top was, how do you have good, healthy routines as an ADHD person? So that's what this episode is going to be about. All about routines, peppered in with some of my routine stuff as an OCPD person.
He lives for routine.
That is kind of like my bread and butter. So let's jump right into it. We want to start with the importance of routines. So like why they're important, whether for everyone, whether you're ADHD, OCPD. So from like an ADHD perspective, how are routines a part of your life?
Wow, that is such a big question. As an ADHD person, routines are few and far between a part of my life. They're not really like an everyday thing every day. It's not the same routine as like something for him would be. It would be like the same morning routine, same night routine every time. But for me, it has to be dependent on my mood and my energy levels. And people with ADHD obviously have like a dopamine deficit. And so we're constantly craving something else to fulfill that. And so, yeah.
It sounds like routines are almost the antithesis, or like it's the anti-ADHD thing. Antithesis, I believe I'm using the right terminology. But
can you talk to me in Gen
Z?
In Gen Z.
Or in Gen terms.
In Gen terms.
Like an ADHD person, like you said, is craving the new and the novel, and a routine is not the new and the novel. Routine is the predictable, and it's the set order of things.
Yeah.
So you're kind of fighting against routines, I feel like, on a daily basis.
But it's interesting, right? Because like someone with ADHD craves something new and novel and like gets easily bored with the same mundane thing day to day. However, there are things in the morning when done in a certain order will be so beneficial for someone with ADHD and will kind of make your day better. And the more and more you do it, like for example, not having social media, not opening up social media as soon as you wake up, that's amazing for ADHD. Making sure that you are hydrating, drinking water. If you have to take medication, don't forget to take that. Vitamins, going outside, like first thing, and like going for a walk if you have that ability, or doing something physical. All of that helps the chemicals in your brain as an ADHD person to focus better, and you get those, that is dopamine inducing. Just going for a walk and like being in the sunlight, like all of those things are giving you what you need.
Yes, yeah. It sounds like you're almost setting some ground rules like right off the bat. So I think the first one you said makes a lot of sense about social.
Yeah.
And everyone will always say, like, don't look at your phone as soon as you wake up. But specifically for ADHD people, like, for example, like a TikTok, for example, was like meant to just suck in an ADHD person because it's dopamine after dopamine after every swipe. And then you can kind of tunnel in there. And then all of a sudden, an hour goes by, you're still in the bed.
2 hours.
2 hours goes by, you're still in the bed, and now your day is totally started off on the wrong foot.
Yeah. And that's what's wild is that, I don't know if you know this, but there's a documentary on TikTok and the algorithm. And so it's made to basically make you addicted to it and incapable of leaving it, because every video you're seeing is catered to you. That's why it's called a For You page. And so they know what you like, what makes you laugh, what will keep you scrolling. And it's dangerous if you open social media first thing in the morning, especially if you have ADHD.
I think the other important thing, like you said, is especially out if you can, sometimes in the wintertime you can't,
Yeah.
which really stinks, but outside activity.
Do it anyway. Do it in the cold.
Yeah, like outside
Bundle
activity, get some sun, get some fresh air. That is going to really set you up like a good foundation.
Yeah.
Wherever your day goes, at least and I know like you've been doing making the bed every morning, which has like been something.
That's the one routine I think recently that I'm just like haven't stopped.
But it's great because now your brain almost like, I guess one thing.
It's a habit.
Yeah, but one thing that your brain I think really likes is that like that's an accomplishment, right? Like you like to-do lists, but you can make a ton and sometimes you don't complete it and so on and so forth. But that is something that you check off on the to-do list every morning. And that kind of signals to your brain like, wow, you know what? I got something done today.
That's exactly what it is. It's just like we're so used to failing at things that the minute I wake up, I've got to win. And I made my bed and I brushed my teeth. Like those two things in a row. Like I'm like, oh, today's going to be a good day.
Yeah, for me, like the importance of routines is everything. And I could probably go on for a long time about like why I love routines and how my brain is just like built for routines.
Yeah.
But when I was trying to think about like what are some of the things that I have put in place that could help everybody, ADHD or otherwise, I think like the best thing that I have like a system set up is my recurring reminders. And like ADHD people, I think could really help. This could help them. And even just anyone listening to this, I've got recurring reminders set up for everything. I'm talking about, I wrote down a list. I'm talking about when to take the trash out the night before, when it's recycling, when to clean our Nespresso machine once a month so that the maintenance, it doesn't break down.
You do that?
Yeah. I have reminders for when like certain days our daughter has different lunch days that she likes, like French toast day. I have a reminder. Oh, don't pack her lunch. She's having French toast at school. I was just scrolling through my reminders before this. Amazing. I have a reminder that I set. So I got an annual physical last year in August, I believe. But, they're always like, well, do you want to schedule another one a year out? And I'm like, that just sounds terrible because like I have no clue a year out in August what day is going to be good. So I was scrolling through my upcoming reminders and I have a reminder that I set. I totally forgot this. I set for myself on July 15th of this upcoming year to say, call the doctor and set yourself up a physical for August.
Meanwhile, I can't even call any doctor. And if I do make an appointment, I'm lucky if I show up.
I mean, you've had that. I remember you would get calls from the doctor's office and they're like, where are you?
What is it called? Blacklisted? I am blacklisted from a cardiologist. They won't return
They won't answer your calls.
Because I missed 3 appointments and I can't for the life of me make it to an appointment.
And I know that like someone with ADHD probably has like notification fatigue on their phone. So in order for this to really work for you, you do got to make sure that like you're not getting bombarded with a ton of different other notifications so that when that reminder comes through, you actually see it.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing to like try to keep in mind. But
I'm going to be honest with you. Your reminders the system that you do, I think you've tried to have that where it's like a family reminder thing.
We tried that.
Yeah. Any reminder I'm getting is immediately like in front of my eyes. I'm like, that was cool. That's what happens. I see a reminder pop up on my phone. I'm like, cool. Because guess what? I think like if you work in social media and you get so many notifications and you're in 1,000 group chats and you're just getting so many text notifications from every single app, email, whatever, right? That reminder is not happening. It's just
no. I hear that. I think
I wish it did.
I think you would have to be like. So here's some other tips.
I need to be slapped across.
Well, here's what we never tried with you, and I will give this to maybe some other folks who are ADHD and want to really try the reminder stuff. You can do some other cool things with your phone. So if you have an iPhone, you could set it so that when reminders come through, you could either set a custom vibration pattern. so that so you could be like did it, and then on top of that. On top of that,
do it again. Did it?
So then, on top of the custom vibration pattern, you could do a custom tone, and wait, on top of that, you can set an accessibility feature to flash your flashlight on your phone.
Joe,
when it comes through.
Can I say something?
What?
If you ever do that to my phone, I'm chucking it in the river. If anything goes and starts flashing in my eyes,
all right,
I'm taking.
All right, good night, everyone. I tried.
But do you realize how anxiety-inducing that sounds? Or does that sound normal to you? Vibrations, the loud beeps, and the flashing lights. You thought that was going to be great for me.
All right.
No, maybe you know what? Let's try it. Let's have it.
Well,
I'll try it.
So
I will try it.
So then maybe you have All right. So then maybe you have the analog version of this. So maybe for you, it might be putting some sort of stickies or Post-its in different areas in the house.
We'll get to that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, something to think about.
Yeah.
So, so long story short,
we're all different.
Yes.
And
my routines are not necessarily going to gel with Jen's routines. But the next thing we want to touch on, I think, is really important because we were talking about social media, and that also means like YouTube and other things that you see. And what we wanted to make a point of, especially for the ADHD person, is do not listen to the productivity gurus. Now, it's a general statement, but if you look at a lot of the productivity content online, the majority of it, unless it's specifically for ADHD, I mean, unless it says like ADHD tips for X, Y, and Z.
Like autism tips or anything like that.
Neurodivergent tips. Unless it says that, the majority of the people who are doing that like productivity content do not have an ADHD brain, and they may make you feel that like, you know, the way you operate is just like broken, when in fact it's just they're making it very general for everyone, and it's not. So, for example, you've got the Hubermans of
his
the world, and everyone tries to do his morning routine. You've got, you know, people try to do
your favorite
Joe Rogan. Oh, my favorite, Alex Hormozy. And it's like how what I eat in a day, or how I structure my day. Or actually, you know what's cool? I like watching these videos. I haven't watched them in a while. I think it's GQ or Vanity Fair or something. But they'll like interview a celebrity or an entrepreneur, and they'll have them walk them through their daily schedule from like when they wake up to when they go to bed. And it's really interesting to watch.
Wait, I feel like I've seen someone like making fun of Gwyneth Paltrow and her routine because she was just like,
that one.
I wake up and I drink water and then bone broth. And then when I'm feeling dizzy, I have an IV put in.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's really relatable. But yeah, I feel like I want to understand your perspective on it, because as someone who probably sees this content constantly being thrown at them, like, I'm curious, like, how has it made you feel in the past? Have you tried to do some of these people's tips, and kind of how'd that work out?
There's a few layers to this. So, number one, not just ADHD, but everybody. I feel like this type of content is very addictive, right? Because they want to like, look at the titles in YouTube, like 10 things you can do to make yourself more productive, 10 new things to make you that it girl. There's so many different videos and content in front of you. It's overwhelming, right? Yeah. And you feel like, well, what's going to work for me? I'm not like this person, or I'm not like this person. And you try multiple different routines that they're recommending, and nothing seems to be working, or you feel like a failure. But also, it's kind of like you're in a casino, right, with self-help, and it's like you're at a slot machine, and you pull it down and it hits, right, and you're like, yes, this feels good, but then you lose, right? But just because you lose in the next pull down, right, you're still sitting in that chair. Why? Because it's the feeling, that thrill of a new self-help routine, a new tip and trick, a new, I want to be like Hormozy, I want to be like Huberman. What's next? Who's next? Like, I need more. Because it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of everybody wants someone to look up to and improve their life because they think that productivity does everything. So that's my spiel. But when it comes to with ADHD, that was me. Before I discovered I had ADHD, all of these videos were something that I looked forward to. I was obsessed with Matt D'Avella. Joe knows I watched every single video he had. In fact, I watched some of them multiple times in a row, and all of his videos were like, I woke up at 5 a.m. for 30 days straight, or I took a cold shower for 60 days in a row, or I decided to walk 10,000 steps every single day, which is fine. That's great. But it's just, some things work for people and some things don't. I think it's important to know that there are content creators out there that are specific to neurodiverse communities the content creators are neurodiverse, right? So like they have a little bit more of like a helpful tip.
I also think that the other thing you got to realize for a lot of these videos is that like the people who are making these videos, making the video is their job, right?
Yes.
So even for someone like me, I'll even watch some of these videos and be like, I don't even think I could accomplish that, because you got to understand, like a lot of the times these creators who are making these videos, they don't have a typical 9-to-5 schedule, and not to say that they're not busy. They do have, busy lives, and they probably have deadlines and editing and so on and so forth, but their schedule is very flexible, right? They could, spend time, like say it's a video about eating a certain diet for 30 days or something like that. They have that luxury of being able to better plan that out, when in the reality is like some of that stuff is just not attainable in general to like your everyday person who's got a family, has a 9-to-5 job, has obligations, stuff like that. So it's like you almost want to take what they're saying with a grain of salt and then pick and choose some of the nuggets of like stuff that will help you in the long run.
Yeah. So recently I watched a YouTube video. If I can remember it, I'll put it in the description somewhere. But she has a client who has ADHD, and the client was talking about how she cannot keep routines. It is impossible. No matter how hard she tries, routines don't stick. And she asked her, well, what do you do in a day? Like what does your day look like, and why is it that you're saying that your ADHD is preventing you from doing all this? And she's like, all right, well, I have insomnia, of course. Like I stay up late doom scrolling, or I'll watch my Netflix shows right before bed, and I'll just stay up and binge, or I'll just like snack, and then in the morning I'll just wake up, later on in the day, and I'll just stay in my pajamas and I'll snack and I'll just play video games. And she just says different things. She's like, okay. She's like, so that's what your day looks like. She's like, yeah. Okay. Like how often does your day look like this? Like how often are you doom scrolling at night? And how often are you watching Netflix until 1 a.m, or playing video games for a long period of time, when you're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z? And she's like, almost every day. She's like, okay. So then she's like, then you are capable of having a routine, but just that's a bad routine. That means that you are capable of having a routine. You just need to have a good routine, right? And so that was just so eye-opening for me, because I'm like, she's right. Like I do be scrolling on TikTok in the middle of the night, and I'm wondering why it's now 2 a.m. and I've been on TikTok down that like doom scrolling method. So it's definitely an eye-opener to realize all it takes is you just taking the necessary steps. With ADHD, right? It's different than when you're seeing the gurus say, do this, and if you notice, if you see a lot of them, there's always like 5 to 10 things you have to do, right? With ADHD, just pick one. Just pick one. I'm making my bed every day, and I've done that for months. Now I'm adding on something else, right? So like any progress is progress with ADHD. Do not give yourself 5 to 10 things to do every day so that you can have the perfect morning routine, because routines don't stick. Because how do you think those bad routines happened, right? Like, it didn't all happen at once. You know, the doom scrolling of the TikTok, then the Netflix, like, you get a little taste of each thing, and then the more you do it, it becomes a habit, right? So just try it, but you have to make it fun in some way, right? So it just got to be something a little different. So just like gamify it, time yourself. Like if you want to be like, okay, I want to make my bed. Okay. Like Alexa, set a timer for 5 seconds. Let's see if I can do it in 5 seconds. Like, I don't know, just gamify different things that you're doing. So that it's just like, I don't know, makes it less boring, because some tasks are boring.
Totally random thought.
Yeah.
When you said making your bed and then setting a timer. Did you see the video that's been going around about like the bed making competition?
No.
Oh yeah. Somewhere in Asia, there's a bed making competition where you have like a couple of mattresses set up, and then you have sheets and then a fitted sheet, and these people compete for how fast and how neat they can make a...
Do they film this?
Yes, it's filmed.
It's a TV show?
I don't know if it's a TV show, but they filmed the competitions. It's on YouTube.
I want to watch that.
But to go back to your point, you want to start small.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people who, whether you're ADHD or not, they see a task, right? I want to lose weight. Or they see a task like, I want to organize my home. And they are paralyzed with the thoughts of where to begin, because it's such a monumental thing.
Yep.
And, I feel like everyone can probably relate to this, right? Like you look at your to-do and you're just like, how am I going to get it all done? But when you break it out into smaller things and into smaller wins, that is going to make all the difference. So like, going back to like that, all right, I want to lose weight, right? Well, someone might think like, well, I have to do a eating program and a gym routine, and I have to change my whole schedule and life. Okay, what if you just tracked what you ate and then like took one like unhealthy thing out of that and just see if you could take that out? Yeah. Or the house is crazy, like, where do I begin? All right, let's see if you can clean one part of your house and maintain that one part of your house. And then once you get into that routine and habit of cleaning that one part of your, like, I feel like you've done a great job with the office that we're sitting in right now, which is your office.
Oh, I've maintained it.
Yeah.
But that
for a while.
This was before the bed. I've maintained this room consistently before making my bed. I never made my bed before, but now that was an add-on, right? So it's just like, start little with baby steps. And I just thought of this. I had a light bulb go off when you were talking, and I want to say it before I forget.
Go.
So this is how I see habits, and I'm just like visualizing it. I love metaphors. So picture your life, your day-to-day as a racetrack, right? You've got your starting point and you've got your finish line, right? When you start your day off with routines that work for you with ADHD, it's like taking the car from the starting point and putting it mid-track, right? Because if you're starting your day off where you're drained, you didn't go to bed, you not drinking water, you're not doing taking your vitamins, you're not going outside, you're not doing anything to help you with your morning, you're starting off at a disadvantage.
That's good.
But see these morning routines as if I do this, that means by 2 p.m. I'm not going to feel drained. I'm going to feel energetic. I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to feel all these things. I'm mid-track with this routine in the morning. I want to wake up and be like, okay, all I have to do is just spend like 30 minutes doing certain things, and I'm going to start my day mid-track. I'm not going to start from the starting line. I'm going to get that boost and go to that finish line sooner than if I were to not do it at all.
Yeah, that's really great advice. And I think that flows well into our last thing, which is like, what do good routines look like for ADHD people? Because it sounds like, based on everything you've said, it's not a predictable thing every single day.
No.
it is something that is going to have some flexibility and shift around.
Yeah. I basically wrote this down. I put, what is your ideal morning? So if you're listening to this, write down, when you have time, write down in your phone, just picture your day. What would you like to do in the morning when you wake up? Is it, I want to make my bed. I want to brush my teeth. I want to do some 10-minute journaling. I want to have a cup of coffee and I want to do my word games.
Mm-hmm.
I want to listen to a podcast, right? I want to go for a walk with my dog. All those things. Write that down. That's your ideal morning. Now, picture what is going to be your ideal morning if you've watched Stranger Things in the upside down, right? Because what is the upside down? It is the same thing, but flipped. But now it's darker. It's scarier, right? It's harder. There's trials. There's tribulations. You're tired. There's just all these things coming at you. You've got, if you're me, you've got PCOS. You've got, when the period comes, you're just like, the hormones are all over the place. Yeah. So write that down. Okay. So if I'm at my lowest point, if I'm sitting in the upside down, what does that routine look like? What is the bare minimum that you can do to feel like you did something and you could feel okay with that? If it's just make my bed, brush my teeth, eat a meal, if that's what it is in the upside down, write that down, right? So you've got your two different routines. However, with ADHD, there's more than that. There is an app that I used to use, and you don't have to use this app. There's other methods, but it's called the TIIMO, TIIMO. And this was made for neurodiverse brains, this app. And what's really cool about it is that there's already pre-built-in routines in this app that are geared towards ADHD, autism, like all that. It's already pre-done for you. You click it and you add it to your day. And then you say, I want this to repeat Monday through Friday, or I want this to repeat throughout the entire week or just on the weekends. It's so customizable. It is amazing. You can color code every single thing and it gamifies it. So for example, if I pick a morning routine and I want to customize it to my own specific morning routine, I can make each thing a different color. I can put an emoji for each thing. And then as I'm doing it, there's a little toothbrush. It's blue. And then there's a little color timer, just like that timer that I showed you guys in a previous episode where it has color and it's counting down. So it's kind of like a game. It's like, can you do this within this amount of time? And then when you achieve it, you get little fireworks and it's like, hooray, you did it. And you're like, oh my gosh, thanks. So that's really cool. But I wrote here, think of 4 different routines. You've got ADHD, right? So you've got your high energy. You're waking up, you're walking on sunshine. You've filled with energy. You've got pep in your step. You can conquer the world. Okay. That's going to be a routine that you save in the TIIMO app, right? So you label it high energy routine, or you can put it on a Post-it and put it on what is it that I used to do? I used to put it on a whiteboard. So I used to put different things that I wanted to do and put it on a Post-it and put it on the whiteboard. And then I would move it over done. You could do that. Or you can just use a dry erase marker, whatever works for your brain, do it. I prefer doing the app and the Post-its with the dry erase. So you have your high energy routine. Then after that, you're feeling a little mid. We're feeling a little mid. You're not super high energy. You're not super low energy. You're mid, right? So figure out what that routine looks like, right? It's not going to look like the high energy routine. There's going to be a little bit thing. So maybe you don't go on a 30-minute walk and you shorten the time. Or maybe you skipped making your bed, whatever have you. That's your mid energy. And then I have here meh. You're feeling a little meh. You're like, oh, I don't have it in me. I'm going through a PCOS situation, or I'm going through a hormonal situation, or I'm just I had a really tough emotional week. I'm feeling meh. What does that routine look like? Do it ahead of time. Save it, right? And then lastly, I put nope. I just put nope. Nope. You woke up and you said, nope, not today. I'm not doing anything because I have ADHD paralysis. I am burnt out. I've done enough. I didn't take care of myself and I need to click the nope. what is the minimum? Maybe those days you're focusing on regulating yourself and refilling your cup, getting that HP up, drinking some of the Chug Jug Fortnite Shield juice.
You need the nope so that you can go back to picking these other morning routines. So like you need the recharge day in order for you to do that. Because like if you put the pressure on yourself to expect to always have one of these routines picked, then you're going to feel bad about yourself when you fail. Yeah. Instead, you're making that an option, and it's not failing. You're making it an option to say, no, I'm just not going to do it because I want to be able to do it in the future. And and I think if you view it less, I think just based on my conversations with you about ADHD, I think in general, to view things not as a fail, but to view things as a, like, I'm going to reset so that I can start accomplishing other things, I think that mindset change will be a big game changer for you, because then you're not getting so down on yourself. And I know in our relationship specifically, it's been very tough, because when you want to pick a nope day, I'm never on a nope day. I'm like
always on a high energy day.
I'm typically almost, like there's very rare things where I'm not, but I'm almost always on a high energy day. So then to you, it feels like, this nope day is a failure when
I'm going to tell them what happened. Wow. I was on a nope day, and this guy was folding laundry on my legs while I was in the bed. Okay, and I'm talking
I was making piles.
I'm like deep in depression. I'm like, I can't, I'm just a shell of a human. And he's just like, doo-doo-doo, like just on top of my body folding. And I'm just like, do you have to A, fold on top of me, and B, show me how awesome you are and make me feel like I'm less than? Which right now, like, we're at a totally different space and place. Like he would never do that now. Like he would never be like, oh, you're overstimulated and you're feeling, tulip pussy, like you don't know anything about flowers. Like, no, he's just like, he's like, I hear you. I'm so sorry. You go rest. Like he understands, and that's what you need. You need to have an understanding. But yeah, having all of these different energy routines, I think Timo is really cool to have that. If you want to try it, they have a free trial. This is not sponsored. I just used it, and it worked really well. Right now, I am in the midst of figuring out kind of like which app I like the most. I do so far like Timo the most, but I want to try out other ones, because you never know if there's one that's like a little bit simpler. So I'm in the testing stage, so I'll keep you guys posted if I find one that I like more. But this one so far has been the best one out of all of them. And I think it's just important to know that if you change your mindset with ADHD, because everyone else will tell you morning routines are like, it shows how great you are. Like it shows how productive you are, and productivity equals self-worth and makes you like high up here. Like, no. For ADHD, routines are so that we can survive with a life jacket. Like it's kind of just like we're swimming with everybody else, but everybody else has really good legs. You know what I mean? And someone just gave us some Novocaine in our legs. And now they're like, swim like everyone else. Why are you slow? Like, no, I'm sorry. Give me a life jacket so I can swim like everybody else. And that life jacket is the routine. So see the routine as, this is what I need so that I can function and feel happier in my day. Like, this is something that's like, it's not like, oh, like I have to do it. It's like, oh, like I have this opportunity to get a boost for free. I don't have to pay for that boost. Like I choose these things and automatically I am feeling better and happier and I can get things done.
I do have a confession though, because I just started following such a toxic person.
A
for
lot of people
routines.
you follow are toxic.
This is a guy. I just found this guy because, of course, like, you know, the Instagram algorithm knows me. So
Yeah.
so it's this guy who's like jacked.
Oh,
And
God,
he's
of
like
course.
he's a New York City cop, and he's jacked,
Oh.
and he's up at 2:45 every morning.
2? Joe, stop. What the heck?
wait.
You followed him?
I did. He's up at 2:45 every morning.
No. What
you know,
many
and he's got his routine. He makes his like electrolyte powder drink, and then he makes some other like pre-workout drink. And then he goes outside into a 30-degree cold plunge, and then he gets out, and then he like starts working, and he like films the routine every morning. And
guess what? He turns the camera off and cries.
you're probably right,
And he says in the mirror, "You'll never be good enough.
but
Film again."
I had to confess though.
Joe, wait, I need to know this.
I'll show it to you.
What was it that was like, I gotta follow this guy? What was it? Please,
honestly,
explain
it's
to
just
me.
the admiration, right? Like,
What do you mean?
I don't know, like something in
Admiration?
Yes, I know that it's such an extreme thing, and I'm not gonna do it myself. But there's just something about, like, I don't know. That's like
okay, so let me talk to you about your OCPD. Don't you think that is toxic for your OCPD? Because
I just realized it now on the podcast while we were talking.
like, don't you think that following people that are fueling the dark side of OCPD, which is basically, I'll never be enough. Like, I need to do this all the time. Like, I need to act like a machine and not a human. And notice he said, every day I'm basically high energy every day. No, he's not. He's telling you that because he has no idea what emotion he has, because he wakes up, pushes it down, and he's like, I'm going to just do everything according to my schedule. And he doesn't take into account the emotional regulation.
However, I'm getting...
Sorry to call you out, but it's true.
No, you're right. That's how I've been. But I am getting a little bit better at realizing that. So, for example, you know, we just got off of a busy Easter weekend.
Yes.
And, like...
He took a nap today, guys.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what
I was so proud of
That's
him.
crazy. I don't even
so
know how that
cute.
happened.
I was
But,
so proud.
but now, you know, Monday and Tuesday, I didn't even go to the gym or even try to work out, and I slept until past 7 each day, because I was listening to my body.
Thank you.
But it's, you know, but you're right. I've for a very long time I've not been like that. So I'm making little baby steps there.
No, that's really good. And I think that, like, it's important to realize that it's okay if you're not high energy every day, right? It's like, and also follow creators that make you feel good about yourself, or make you feel like everything is kind of like achievable, right? You don't ever want your space, your headspace, because it's subconscious. You might watch something and be like, oh, this is so nice. But deep down, you're like, no, I feel bad. Now I feel bad that I am not wearing all white with Ugg slippers, and I'm not having chamomile, and I'm not in a slick back gel bun, and I don't have the clean girl aesthetic, and I'm wearing an Edward Cullen Twilight t-shirt looking like a child when I'm 35 years old. Listen, I am who I am, and I like graphic tees. That's it.
Well, I think that wraps up today's episode.
Okay.
We hope that these tips and just talking about how routines go with our life helped you. And we'll probably do another poll maybe this week to see what else you want to hear about for upcoming episodes. But that wraps this one up. Thank you again, always, for listening and subscribing and following. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode.
You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at ADHD and Me Podcast.
Our theme song is by @It's of Both.
New episodes every Wednesday.
We will see you there, or we will see you on another time.